Why has Jimin appeared sidelined in several recent important moments, even by Jungkook himself? Is this merely a coincidence or a sign of a major shift within BTS's internal dynamics? New facts circulating within the South Korean music industry are shocking many and triggering serious speculation about the future of this legendary group. News rapidly spreading in ARMY communities and music industry forums mentions hidden tension among BTS members, especially between Jimin and Jungkook. One major trigger of this speculation emerged when several videos and official photos from military activities, interviews, and HYB's internal broadcasts showed crucial moments where Jimin appeared to be left out or even ignored in group interactions. This became more noticeable when Jungkook's reaction to Jimin's presence or comments seemed cold and formal, no longer warm like before. The public began to question, what is really happening between these two close friends? Is this a result of military pressure, HYB's management dynamics, or a personal conflict that has been kept tightly under wraps? One incident that became a major point of focus was a moment during a BTS video call session uploaded to their official platform, where members greeted fans one by one. When Jimin's name was mentioned, Jungkook's reaction was caught on camera. He didn't respond, merely gave a small nod with a stiff smile. Though it seemed minor, the moment triggered an emotional storm among ARMY, who are very familiar with the emotional dynamics between BTS members. Netizens began comparing Jungkook's warmth towards other members like V and RM with his apparent coldness towards Jimin. This comparison strengthened the impression that a rift had formed, and it was not without reason. Furthermore, in a limited HYB internal interview broadcast to shareholders and premium fans, an anonymous staff member revealed that lately, Jimin has often been seen alone, both during practice sessions and daily briefings. In fact, according to the source, Jimin had requested to skip some group sessions due to personal reasons. In this context, the public started asking, are these personal reasons related to pressure from group mates? Or is Jimin dealing with greater internal pressure than the public is aware of? More and more questions emerged and couldn't be stopped. Why hasn't HYB provided an official explanation regarding these internal dynamics? Why must the public learn of such major changes through subtle hints appearing indirectly in videos, expressions, and gestures of the members? From pre-debut days to global stardom, Jimin and Jungkook were known as the closest pair. They shared a room, supported each other, and often expressed unconditional care in public. However, in the past 6 months, that intimacy seemed to disappear. Fan behavior analysts even referred to this phenomenon as an emotional regression in the interpersonal relationships among BTS members. It wasn't just the physical interactions that declined, but also the lack of verbal recognition between them. Jungkook, who used to call Jimin his inspiration, now more frequently names RM or V when speaking about his support system in interviews. This is not just a change in preference, but a strong social signal that their relationship is under strain. Moreover, in his last live stream before enlisting, Jungkook mentioned that he doesn't have time to think about relationships that are no longer in sync. Although he didn't mention any names, many ARMY interpreted the comment as directed at Jimin. This issue became even more complex when reports from within HYB indicated tension between the artist management division and one of Jimin's personal staff. Allegedly, a misunderstanding arose concerning Jimin's solo schedule post-military service, which was seen as conflicting with BTS's group comeback strategy. Although this information hasn't been officially confirmed, the speculation was reinforced by the leak of internal documents naming Jimin in the context of a potential disruption to group timelines. Is this the real reason Jimin is being sidelined? Or is there someone behind the scenes systematically weakening his position in the group? Equally shocking was the response from the South Korean public, who began questioning HYB's credibility in maintaining the emotional and professional balance among its artists. If even Jimin can be ignored, who is safe in a corporate structure like this? Wrote a columnist in the Korea Herald. Similar opinions flowed through online forums, highlighting how major companies often focus too much on numbers and targets, while forgetting the emotional well-being of their artists. In response to this uproar, BTS's and HYB's official accounts have not provided a clear statement. They merely released a standard comment stating, BTS remains solid and focused on their individual duties during military service. But this statement does not sufficiently explain the emotional atmosphere that is currently confusing the public. This situation is a clear example of how the interpersonal dynamics within a boy group not only affect internal work but also influence public perception and fan loyalty, especially when two members known for their closeness are now caught in an issue of emotional neglect that, in many ways, deeply touches the hearts of the public. Jungkook himself hasn't issued a direct clarification, but in a brief comment during an interview about friendship within BTS he said, "Sometimes we grow in different directions. But that doesn't change what we've been through." Though it sounded neutral, many took it as an indirect confirmation that emotional distance was indeed occurring, as this a sign that the relationship among BTS members is facing its greatest test yet? Or is it just a temporary transitional period full of misunderstandings and external pressure? No one can know the answer for sure, except they themselves, if they choose to speak honestly to the public. For now, one thing is certain: ARMY will not stay silent. When one member appears to be ignored, this fan community shows that their solidarity is not just for the music and achievements, but also for humanity and emotional justice. And in this context, their voice is already loud enough to shake the K-pop industry. Will HYBE respond to this demand for transparency? Will Jimin return to shine alongside his group? Or will he choose a different path after military service? And what will Jungkook's reaction be if one day the public begins to question his role and attitude in this mysterious dynamic? Time will tell. But today we face the emotional reality that even behind grand stages and smiling faces on screen, there are always complex stories only visible to those who are truly paying attention. And this time that story is called Jimin. Even though public speculation and emotion have grown immensely, it is crucial to emphasize that as of now, there is no official evidence or confirmation indicating that Jimin was truly ignored by Jungkook or by the other BTS members. The entire narrative about such neglect developed from personal interpretations of fragments circulating on social media and fan forums, not from official statements or verifiable facts. Videos or images considered as proof of emotional distance between the members often originate from situations lacking full context. For instance, video clips showing Jungkook's expression perceived as cold toward Jimin cannot be used as a basis to conclude that their relationship has worsened. In many cases, such situations are merely ordinary interactions selectively edited and then shared on social media with a biased narrative. It is also important to remember that currently, most BTS members, including Jimin and Jungkook, are fulfilling their mandatory military service. With limited movement and public communication regulated by military protocol and HYBE policies, the public cannot expect the usual interactions or emotional expressions they used to display during active promotion periods. Jimin's absence in several moments does not imply he was ignored, but is most likely due to military schedules and restrictions. Moreover, there has been no official statement from HYBE, Jungkook, or Jimin confirming any internal conflict. On the contrary, several previous occasions have demonstrated the closeness and deep friendship among the BTS members. In their last interviews before entering military service, both Jimin and Jungkook expressed deep appreciation for one another and shared great hope to work together again in BTS's future projects. Jungkook's statement that became controversial, such as "sometimes we grow in different directions," has also been confirmed by longtime fans as a common quote he uses to describe life's journey in general, not directed at any specific individual. It is a form of reflection, not criticism. Finally, it must be stressed that the role of media and fan communities is substantial in shaping public perception. When personal interpretations are framed as facts, the risk of misinformation increases. Therefore, as information consumers, we must always be critical, thoroughly examine sources, and avoid spreading unverified narratives.